Hi you guys, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. My name is Melanie, and can you believe it is nearly the end of April already? Like, where is this year going? I feel like I've blinked my eyes and a third of the year is done. So with the end of April, of course, comes my challenge to do a Christmas card, at least one Christmas card every month. And of course, you know, I never just do just one. It's one of those things that, especially for Christmas cards, if I do one, I might as well make a couple. And I was looking through my Christmas product and I came across this package of My Mind's Eye. They call it confetti, but really, for all intents and purposes, it's just like ephemera. So let me pull this out and show you what I think I'm going to use for this month's card. So I took the package and I split it into the different types. I've got some circles with dots. One side has no glitter, the other side has a little bit. There are some of these snowflakes. There's this cute little Santa, and what's really nice about these, because these are meant to be confetti, which is stuff you would throw like on a table, they're actually double-sided. So I've got an idea of what I can do with playing off the fact that the ephemera is double-sided. So hopefully it works. We also have these circles. One side says holiday cheer and the other side says ho ho ho. There are these larger circles with the stripes or with the glitter stripe, the stars, and some trees. Now that I'm excited about playing with this, let me go and test out my idea and then I'll walk you through what I came up with. So let's talk about what I came up with. So first of all, because of the size of these little guys, they're not so little, I opted to go with a 5x7 card as opposed to a standard A2. So let me just pull one of those up so you can see the difference. So this is a standard A2 card, so you can see he fills up quite a bit more space. And the idea I came up with is to play off the fact that he's double-sided, is to make a spinner card. So if I were to use a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, I'd have to cut a circle big enough for him to spin in, and this is just a little too tight. So by going with a 5x7, I have a little bit more room. So I took some paper from this Christmas Basics Die Cuts with a View paper pad. I'm going to take a 6x6 piece of paper and I'm going to cut it at 4 1/2. And that will give me 1 1/2 inch strip at the bottom, which I'm going to turn around and trim that to 4 1/2 as well. So I will be left with a small little square, but basically this and this will now be big enough to mat the front of the card. Okay, let's talk about how to make the spinner. So when I do a bunch of these types of cards where I'm going to like mass produce, in this case I'm going to make 15, I like to make a template so that I can make my life easier. So this was a previous piece of paper that I had trimmed to 4 1/2 by 6, and I used my Creative Memories circle cutter and the red blade to make a circle. So basically I would have just lined this up on the cardstock where I wanted it to go, and then I just trimmed out the circle. So what I'm left with is this interior piece. Well, obviously this wasn't my original template. So when I had originally done this and centered it, I took a pencil and did a penciled circle in the middle just so that it will help lining this up on the next card. So there you can see the center that I just drew in with a pencil. I also applied a little bit of ATG on the back, and basically now with my new panel, my template, and my interior piece, we just are going to align these so that they're the same. I'm going to take my interior piece with a little bit of tape, and I am just going to place that within the circle, just like so. And now I can use my cutting tool to center that and take the cutting blade double check, make sure that still looks good. And trim this out. If you haven't used the Creative Memories circle cutting system or cutting system, it's one of my favorite. I know I've had it for over 25 years and I still use it all the time. Now, one tip before you release this up, just make sure your paper moves smoothly so that you've got everything trimmed. And there we go, we've got our panel. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with our cardstock base, right? So this is the 5x7 card. We are going to adhere this, or not adhere, we're going to align this just like so, so that it is perfectly where we want it. Now I am using 120-pound cardstock for my card base, and when I trimmed out this circle, like this one, I tried to use it as a template, but it's too thick. And the little blade had a hard time cutting through, so I just reverted back to using this same circle. You would just attach it, right? Pull it away, line this up, and then run the blade through. And you are left with a card with a hole in the middle. Now, before we attach anything to this card base, we do want to make a couple marks. Now, you can do this a couple ways. One, you could take the circle and fold it in half and kind of sort of align this straight. I found that too hard. Instead, I just took a ruler. I know this is 5 inches wide, so I know at 2.5 inches. I just want to make a little mark with a pencil on either side of the circle, and this will help me align my little Santa image, because basically we want him to fit in the circle with enough room on either end so that he can spin freely. Okay, so I just made 2 little tick marks so that I can see where this is going to go. Okay, I then took some double-sided, very sticky tape, and I just ran a small piece on either side of that little mark. I did leave a little tiny bit so that I could see it poking through, but to be honest, once I pull this backer off, you're going to see the line quite easily. The other thing we need is to tie some strings to the Santa. So I took, again, the Santa, split him in half with a ruler kind of, and made 2 marks on either end. So I've got a hole on the top and the bottom, and because I was mass producing this, I would just align it, not that way, I would just align them up just like so, and then use those marks for all the other Santas so that I don't have to think through it every time. Again, when you're mass producing, anything you can do to speed up the process or eliminate the need for multiple measurings and stuff like that is the way to go. I then have some crochet thread. It's roughly 8 inches. I've got plenty here. I am always of the mindset to not skimp. I've found that when I try to be very frugal with my supplies, it ends up costing me more in the long run because, you know, it's just too hard to tie, or I can't get it to tie, or whatever. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to just fold that roughly 8-inch string in half, and we're going to do kind of like a tag topper bow, I don't know what else to call it, where you basically feed it through, and then through the loop you're going to pull the tails through, right? So just like you would see on a tag, and we're going to do that on the top and on the bottom. We are going to use these strings to attach him to the card, but so that he is suspended in their circle. So see how he can spin now? Now we just need to make sure this gets affixed. And that's where the sticky strip comes in. We're going to peel that off. See how you can see the line right through? We're going to take Santa, we're going to center him in the middle as best as we can. And in this case, his arms are the part that reaches out the most, and he is not perfectly symmetrical, meaning this side is not the exact same in shape as this side. So we just need to keep that in mind. And I'm going to basically attach this string right on top of the line that has the tape. And we're going to do the same on this side. And then I'm going to do a little test run before we really adhere this. And basically I want to make sure that when he spins he doesn't touch. See how he's touching here a little bit? And then I'm just going to pick it up and shift it over a little bit. We don't want him to not spin. That would be a little bit sad. Okay, let's see if that's better. Much better. See how he spins now? He doesn't touch. And then you could, in theory, cut off these tails, but I don't think this is secure enough as is. And I've got a lot of extra tape there, so I'm just going to wind this excess back over top of the tape just to give me a little bit more security, because like I said, that this string is what is going to cause him to spin. So there will be some pressure on that. So I'm just winding it back and forth and pressing it into that sticky tape. So I'll just show you what that looks like. And that's at the bottom. So now we've got our basic card made. It's just time to dress it up. So I'm going to take the pattern paper that we trimmed out, and it is going to lay right on top just like that. And because I worked out all the math, it's going to be really quick and easy to do all 15 of these. I am just going to use some glue, some liquid adhesive. It gives me a little bit of wiggle room, although this stuff does dry pretty quick, so I don't have a ton, but it does give me a little bit more than dry adhesive. Okay. Just like so. Give that a good press. Now we have that bottom strip that we cut out. This was the 1.5 strip that we trimmed to 4.5, and that we are going to overlap this bottom piece and leave roughly the same amount of frame at the bottom as we have on the sides. Just like so. Now in the paper package there were these round circles with the dots with a little bit of glitter. And there were these sentiments with holiday cheer, which would be kind of fun, and then this star. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this green is not a perfect match for the green in here, but it's okay. It doesn't bother me any. There's enough variations in colors that you don't even really notice it. So I'm just going to attach that like so. You could use some foam tape if you wanted to. I am opting to go flat. I think the fact that he spins already is pretty good. And we're just going to add the glittered star, also in the same confetti pack. We're just going to add it right up there. Okay, so how does the spinning card work? So after you write your message, you want to wind up the Santa before you release it. And of course, this could be anything, right? You could just use another circle inside of here with an image on if you don't have something that's double-sided, but you do want something that's going to look pretty on both, because this, like I said, it is going to spin. So after you write your message, and of course you may want, you may want to watch where you write your message so that it doesn't come through on the front. But then you just want to wind him up. So just kind of spin him. What's going to happen is the string is going to coil around itself. And you don't want to go super tight, you know, just until it feels about right. And you're going to close it and you're going to put it in an envelope. When the recipient opens it, of course, they're going to take it out of the envelope and they're going to release this and he will spin. How fun is that? I think he's super cute. Now you could add some more embellishments if you want. So I will likely do these all different because that's the way I roll. I have some Ranger Stickles here. This is in Joyful. It's like primarily red, but it's got some other iridescent colors in here. And I thought it would be kind of fun to just add a bead of this along the border between the two, or the seam between the two pieces of paper. Just like that. Be careful, of course, because it is wet. It will take a while to dry. So I have to be one of those people that puts it far, far away, because I am known for putting my hand in things when it's still wet. And I thought I would just do his little buttons, and I don't think I'm going to do anything else. You could take out a shimmer pen if you wanted to, you know, add some glitter to his cuffs and his the band from his hat. Whatever you would like. I'm going to keep it a little more on the simplistic side. And like I said, I'm going to put this aside to dry, and let me put the rest of them together and show you what I came up with. Okay, so all the cards are completed. Like I said, they're roughly the same design, just different pattern papers. I did switch a few things up with the sentiments, so they are all slightly different. Some I kept a little more simplistic, and others I added a few more bells and whistles. Layered it up. This one's also layered, has glitter around the circles. This one I played off the plaid. This one I added a little bit of washi tape on the bottom. And this one I added little glitter dots in all the circles. And then any of the ones that do not have the stamped sentiment that I added the stamped sentiment on the inside. And the striped glitter paper were those bigger circles that I just cut down into smaller ones to either make those mats or the scallop circles. So that is it for my Christmas card challenge for the month of April. I hope you enjoyed and you are inspired to make some cards this month, working towards the ultimate goal of having them ready for December. I know I am very pleased to have another 15 to add to the stash. This is going to go a long ways to having enough. And I think they're super fun. Something fun to do, a little interactive element, and the rest of the cards are pretty basic. So I think those two balance each other off. Let me know below if you have ever done a spinner card. I'd love to hear what your approach was. And until next time, happy crafting.